2020 Democratic presidential contenders all currently beat President Trump in the latest Fox News polling. When breaking down those hypothetical matchups by gender, it's interesting. President Trump wins with men, but loses with women. Among men, the closest race is between President Trump and Joe Biden, 47 to 45%. Bernie Sanders loses to Trump by a larger margin, 43% to 50%. Bloomberg comes in at 41, while Trump gets 46% of the vote. Buttigieg loses by 10. 39% to 49%, and the biggest victory for Trump among men comes against Elizabeth Warren, 38% to 52%. And when looking at hypothetical matchups among women, President Trump loses in every race. He loses to Bernie Sanders, 54 to 36, against Elizabeth Warren, 53 to 38. Against Joe Biden, 51 to 36. Michael Bloomberg beats Trump 48 to 35. And Pete Buttigieg also comes away with a victory, 47 to 36% among women. Adrienne Elrod, what stands out to you here? I guess overall, women voting against Trump makes sense. But what candidate and what numbers stand out to you?
Well, I think, Mika, overall, the numbers stand out to me because you just showed a head-to-head with multiple Democrats who are running to seek the Democratic nomination against Trump. Women are overwhelmingly supporting Democrats across the board. And you've got to think about the fact, Mika, that white suburban women really made the determination in 2016. Yes. Unfortunately, didn't go toward Hillary Clinton's favor. But also in 2018, they were the reason why women had historic wins up and down the ballot. We have over 100 women who are currently in the United States Congress. Only a fraction of those women are Republicans. The majority are Democrats. And there's a reason for that. So, yes, we could spend a good hour analyzing why women are not supporting Trump, ranging from his misogynistic comments to his constant threats to, take away women's reproductive health rights to reproductive health, constant threats to Roe v. Wade. There's a million reasons. But when you look at those numbers, you have to think the Republican Party has so much work to do when it comes to attracting women and trying to get them back in their camp. And I don't see anything happening between now and November of 2020 to make those changes.
So I mentioned
go ahead, Jonathan Lemire.
Sure. I mentioned earlier the Trump senior campaign officials had a briefing last week, and they were very confident as they're looking at 2020, and we can debate whether they have reason to be. But one thing they even owned up is that the president does have a problem with women. They've seen his support drop among women since Election Day 2016, Mike Barnicle. Do you see any scenario where he could turn this around? And as a part two to that, does it drag, the problem that he has with women, does that drag on the Republicans, where some of those vulnerable senators we've been talking about, they could be in trouble next year, too?
Well, the answer to your first question, could he turn it around? No. You've seen the internals of some of these polls. We've all seen the internals of all of these polls. For people watching at home, the internals are not the number we just put up on the screen. There's subsections of how women are going to vote. Suburban women in this country, there's a number that I saw a week ago, 28% of suburban women who were polled, of all colors, religions, everything, 28% answered the question under circumstance, could you consider voting for Donald Trump? 28% said absolutely not ever considering to vote for Donald Trump. So he's got a huge problem.
Yeah. To that point, message to Democrats, and look at 2018 also. If it's women and it's suburban women, it's health care, it's education, it's kids in cages. Stay on those issues, those heartstring issues, those kitchen table issues. You will win as long as we don't run somebody crazy hard left.
There's another significant factor that among the many you just mentioned, and it is this. Suburban women, again, when asked whether they'd want their children to grow up to be like Donald J. Trump, no. Yeah. His behavior, no.
But you can't make it just about, that was the mistake that Hillary made in 2016, making it about his behavior. You have to bring it back to how his behavior affects you. Bring it back to the voter issues. 2018 told us how to do it.
It's baked in the cake. It really is. His behavior is baked in the cake. We saw that after Access Hollywood. We've seen it time and time again. It's how do his policies impact people. I want to
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.